This is the function of the teacher of God in the manual for teachers. And manual for teachers, if you're in the blue book, page 19. Want me to read, or anybody want to read? Want to read too?
I can read.
All right.
The function of the teacher of God, part 3. If the patient must change his mind in order to be healed, what does the teacher of God do? Can he change the patient's mind for him? Certainly not. For those already willing to change their minds, he has no function except to rejoice with them, for they have become teachers of God with him. He has, however, a more specific function for those who do not understand what healing is. These patients do not realize they have chosen sickness. On the contrary, they believe that sickness has chosen them. Nor are they open-minded on this point. The body tells them what to do, and they obey. They have no idea how insane this concept is. If they even suspect it, they would be healed. Yet they suspect nothing. To them, the separation is quite real.
Okay, you stop. So just for context, we're talking about walking around and talking to other people, and the other people that we walk around become our greatest teachers, because the universe, according to this non-dual perspective, is from my projection. I'm projecting out from consciousness, from the one consciousness that we all share. I'm projecting it out in order to create another. So there's another universe out there. It's not me, it's out there. And so that now it exists. And the basic function of that is to get rid of my guilt, because I want to be separate, because I want to be separate. I want to experience a separate personality. I want to be a person. And that separateness is really the root of all my suffering. I cherish it the most, though. That's the thing I cherish the most. And it's the reason I would ever suffer over anything, from slight frustration to complete misery. It's because I'm separate from source, from abundance. But I'm doing it. So now I'm running into people in various levels of that same thing, of separation. Like, they don't get what you're saying. They're crazy angry. They're road rage on the street, waving a gun. They're interrupting you in your office. They're yelling at you not to go to bed. My kids. They're all those different things. And so these patients don't realize that they're separate, or they're not separate. And so they have chosen sickness as well, because they think they're a separate person trying to get what they want, and you're a separate person trying to get what you want. And when two crazy people are trying to convince each other of their craziness, it just leaves you with a whole bunch of crazy, right? And so the teacher of God is not trying to change them. Teacher of God is primarily trying to see that dynamic. Because if I'm a Catholic and I try to change the Lutheran, what really happened, right? I'm just shifting the chairs on the Titanic as the whole thing is going down, so to speak. Similar to, I'm super spiritual and you're a Christian. I'm going to change you to be spiritual, or you're a Christian, or you're spiritual but not Christian. I'm Christian. It's like all these different dynamics of humanity trying to be separate people, and you're going to be in my separate club, and then you're going to be okay. But your separate club is wrong. But in order for me to be right, somebody has to be wrong. It's this dynamic that happens in the separate world, the projected world. And so could it be that everyone is just being a perfect character in this made-up story, and actually they're beautiful and wonderful as their character? Could be, right? That's the story. But one thing is for sure, if you see these other people as just lost in this illusion, it's a lot lighter to deal with them. It's like you're not, somebody is mentally retarded. You're less likely to yell at them super angry when they do something silly. You're kind of messed up if you yell at a super retarded person when they do something silly. But that's what I do all day long, and to myself and to others. Okay, that's it. You want anything you want to add, or you want to go to verse 2?
No, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
because you think in your head like you want to yell at them. You want to, and what do we mean by like special or retarded? There's just so many factors, but it all makes sense.
Well, I mean, think of like not like a dumb person. Think of like actually mentally impaired. Think
Yeah.
of like Down syndrome. They're functioning. They're silly. They're usually really happy, and whatever. They're just not paying attention. They do something, and you yell at them. I mean,
yeah,
it's like,
and like you're the asshole for doing it.
you are, yeah. And you're looking on the outside. You're like, how did that person do that?
Everybody's got eyes on me. I can't believe she just yelled at him.
I know. Wow, what a horrible person. Okay, that's it.
All right. To them, God's teachers come, and by them is the people who are sick. Is that what they?
Yeah. So they have no idea how insane it is. It's the people who are sick.
Okay. So to them, God's teachers come to represent another choice which they had forgotten. The simple presence of a teacher of God is a reminder. His thoughts ask for the right to question what the patient has accepted as true. As God's messengers, his teachers are the symbols of salvation. They ask the patient for forgiveness for God's Son in his own name. They stand for the alternative. With God's word in their minds, they come in benediction, not to heal the sick, but to remind them of the remedy God has already given them. It is not their hands that heal. It is not their voice that speaks the word of God. They merely give what has been given them. Very gently, they call to their brothers to turn away from death. Behold, you, Son of God, what life can offer you. Would you choose sickness in place of this? Would you choose sickness in place of this?
Yeah. Would you choose sickness in place of this? So basically everything that's going on, take our lives. And that's me too. Just remember when you're reading this patient, it's me. And the teacher is also me, depending on the context of whoever I'm with. But whenever I think I'm just the teacher and not the learner, or whatever I think I'm the healer and not the patient, there's a separation. And then that's the problem. That's the problem that needs to be corrected. That separation.
What do you think about separating even like within yourself? So identifying, oh, there's this part of me that feels like they're the healer, and then this other part of me that feels like they're the patient. Is that a form of that separation as well, you think? Or because I don't know, that whole illusion of the self, right? Illusion of the singular self. Do you think so? In the psychology viewpoint, it's healthier, right, to think of yourself as different parts, like identifying that, oh, there's a part of me that feels this way, there's a part of me that feels that way, and then try to take you away from this whole idea of, oh, there is one singular me, and then all these things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what do you
We
think
are.
non-dual
I'm sorry,
teaching
go ahead.
so what do you think non-dual teaching says about that? Like, do you think that whole dividing is dividing within ourselves, like identifying the different parts of us? Do you think that's also a form of separation, or is it only
Yeah,
like separation of like our body and like from others? That's the separation that's
I do.
unhealthy.
Yeah, I do think it is. It's the, it's our fractal nature, and the fractal is, I think they call it a mandala, or I forget what it's called. It's this pattern that it's like, I don't know if you've seen these fractal images where they keep on replicating and they go and they're forever in there. It's like a
Mhm.
snowflake looking kind of replication of itself, inward or outward, and it creates the same exact pattern, and it goes forever in or forever out. And that's what we're doing. We're doing that with our consciousness, and we're projecting it out. And we can project out, but we can also project in. So projecting it out would be the universe that we look at, and we see all of the other. But we can make up who we are the other way as well. Our multiple personalities. Let's say it's a disorder, multiple personalities, and you really think you are these different ones. Or what you're saying, I think, is, these different aspects of myself. Uh, like you show up, let's say you're in with your spiritual friends, and you're like the spiritual person, and you show up and you're with your family, and you get, that same persona of with, your at your childhood. And so now you're put in check, and you can't speak freely, and you have to, act a certain way to fit into the thing. And the rigmarole of what it's like to be home again and working, with your mom and dad, or with your, it's like this, it's another you. It's like the you when you were a kid. And then, and then you're out, and whatever, you're with your party friends, and now you're like super loose, and you're saying dumb stuff that you would have been embarrassed to say in front of your spiritual friends, and you would be, and you would never say that in front of your mom. But it's, what I mean, there's multitudes within you.
It's almost like split personality.
It's exactly that.
I mean, like I don't curse in front of my kids, but I could tell my husband, this fucking house is so dirty. It really isn't that dirty, but I could not talk to my kids like that. Like my mom, I could freely talk to her about anything, but I have certain friends like I can't curse around. And it's exactly the same
That's
thing.
funny.
I get it. It's like you have different groups of friends and you hang out with different groups of people, and not everybody gets along with each other. So then you have to hang out with this group over on this side, and then you hang out with the other group on the other side. And there's Super Bowl. So who do you hang out with Super Bowl? Because you're getting invited, but not everybody can hang out together because nobody gets along. And then you have to come up with an excuse why you're not going to show up at somebody's house because you're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
that's like a daily thing now.
There's a difference, though, between considering someone else and being someone different. Because if you're being someone different, you're not going to notice that you're catering how you engage to somebody else. It's not like a consideration, like I'm not going to say curse words because, I don't want my kids to have that habit because it's not appropriate for their age. Or I'm not going to say these lewd things because I'm around this religious person and I know they take offense, and I love them. I don't want them to have an offense. I don't want them to have that offense because it's painful for them. So you're going to withhold. That's different than you are just a different person. You aren't aware that you're engaging as a different person when you're in this different. You just think, oh man, there's something about my friends I just love, and my parents, I hate them because it just feels bad. You don't realize that you're engaging in a different person. You don't realize that you're the one that's limiting your freedom. And I don't mean you, I mean you, us, right? You're like, with my friends, I can say anything. Well, why can't you say that to your friends? Because you've learned that it's too much work. And to be honest, now your parents, just like you, when you have kids, you don't want to say curse words because you care about them and you want them to be appropriate young people. They don't walk around saying fuck. My my 2-year-old's called truck fuck, and so he would walk around going fuck, fuck,
Oh, yes.
and I'm like, don't say that.
Oh,
The neighbors will think bad of you. You know, it's like I want people to think well of them. I want them to be appropriate and the world to love them like I love them. So I'm trying to get them to engage in a way that it's going to be easier for the world to love them. But it's not like, but it's different than, I don't know what it is. I just can't be around them because they, and then I'm going to blame them for my internal experience. Now that's unaware. You're not realizing that you're engaging in this other set of rules that you chose. It's not their fault. It's never their fault. It's never my parents' fault. It's never my kids' fault. It's never my friend's fault. It's never the world's fault. None of it is anybody's fault. It's not even my fault. It's just a choice. If I want freedom, and I choose confinement, I've chosen it. And so it's a mistake, if anything, and I just choose something different.
That makes sense. It's really about so that whole division that I was talking about within you. It's not really a dividing, it's just a recognizing that there are different aspects, because those are going to exist whether you realize they're there or not. But it's, yeah, so that's very different from separation. Got it.
And the more you're unaware, the more it's going to be a separate personality. You're just going to flip into it. And you can, I mean, people can house different personalities and not even, they don't even know each other. You can set up the psychological blocks where it's so strong that different personalities don't know each other, at least not consciously.
yes, that's pretty interesting. But doesn't that also kind of factor in of the level of respect that you have for individuals? The respect that you have for each person is different.
That's one
like,
judgment.
Yeah, so James' mom, she's very religious, extremely religious. I can't talk about religion with her, just agree with it. She goes to church 7 days a week, does Bible study. She's in choir. Sometimes we show up to church and we watch her sing, and then we leave. And it's like, I have to like sit down at the dinner table and I have to have my back straight. You have to use the right fork for this and that. Make sure you wash your dishes as soon as you're done eating. And I was like, man, at home, I have piles of dishes. I can't even invite you over to my home because it's so messy.
Yeah, get judged.
And then even I don't curse in front of my kids. I can hear them upstairs on the phone with their friends saying curse words all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I guess they're not saying it in front of me. They're going to say it, right? Because they're in school. They hear it. They know those words. But it's like, but you choose to be that person. You choose that around this person. But I guess maybe that's the home life of you really truly are who you are around who? Just yourself, around your spouse, your best friends.
Who are you? That's the real question.
Yeah.
We had this conversation before with Sue and went around quite a bit. Like, are you authentic and are you an imposter? What was the word that we used to that was the whole offense? Insincere? No, it was remember, it was the source of
I think it was inauthentic.
Yeah, but there was a more accusatory word. I remember what it was.
Fake?
Yeah, it's like fake. You're telling
I'm
me
being fake.
You're telling me something and then you take it back after I give it to you, or after I try to give it to you, you say I don't want it. You remember that whole dynamic? I forget the word.
Yeah, but I think that was
something along those lines.
I think I missed that one.
Yeah, it was just me and Sue.
Yeah.
But the point is, here's the point though, the whole thing, Christian. The point is me. It comes back down to me. Who am I? Am I enjoying my life? Am I engaging? Do I have the state of peace, love, or really even more than anything, while I still think I'm in a body, the highest state might be contentment. Am I content? And if
Mhm.
I'm not content, what's going to happen is I'm going to immediately, I'm not content. Well, why not? Then your aim, your focus is going to be on what you lack, or what is the the attacker of your contentment. Who is it? Who is the offense?
Whose
Who is
fault is it?
taking your contentment?
Yeah.
And so then it could be anything from my kids not going to bed, the people walking into Sue's office bugging her, my mom setting up a problem in her life and then calling me to solve it. My lack of my boss that doesn't tell me, that's not doing what I wanted to do, or now I quit. Now it's the world not doing what I want to do because I'm doing deals on my own. And now I'm fearful of not enough. Well, I'm discontent. Why? Because I don't have enough. Why? Well, I have this arbitrary thing that needs to happen. I need to, whatever, close this deal, or have this certain amount of money in my account, or have this appearance in my, in my finance world of what I have of success, or any number of things that I'm making up and attached to. And when I'm attached to anything, I'm not content where I'm at, right? Because I want something different. I want to be something different. I want to have something different.
Kind of like saying how I wanted to switch careers. I want to do something different. Like
Yeah.
I'm done cooking. Like I'm so over cooking. You have no idea. I cook so much. I just can't stand it. But yeah, like and like that happens all the time. Okay, next. Okay, next.
So is it
where do
bad to
you
want something
find
different?
it?
It's not
It's
bad.
it's not bad at all. I mean, look
Yeah.
how many people in their late 40s started, you know, multi-million-dollar companies.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, like you're never too old to do it. And you have
Thank
to like
you. Oh my God.
dig down deep inside and think like, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. I still don't know what I want to do, but when I get that niche and I think about it, I actually wanted to become a therapist, and I have that kind of stuck in my head. I have to go get my bachelor's degree. Well, I have about like 7 years of training, working under someone and doing it. Do I want to do that? Not really. Okay.
Well,
Is
Well,
this the same thing that you're talking about though, Javon? Is so being unhappy with what's going on, what's happening. That's
mhm.
is
yeah,
that exact yeah.
no, well,
It feels different.
Kristen kind of, she's just going on the details of the story. Uh, the point is, are you content? And if I'm not content, it's not from my outside thing. Like Kristen, you don't like cooking. You can start a new You can start a new job that doesn't have cooking. You can be a therapist. Let's say it takes 10 years. Well, that old saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. Well,
Mhm.
when's the second best time? Today. Because
Now.
after 10 years, guess what's going to happen? I mean, the time's going to go no matter what. And when you go by in 10 years, you're like, 10 years down the road, you're like, man, I wish I would have started. It was late in life. I guess I could have started anyway, because 10 years is going to go by no matter what. But that's beside the point. That's all of that is in the world of accomplishment. It's going to make you happy, because the reality is, for Kristen, for me, for Sue, for all of us, even if we do the thing that's hard today and 10 years from now we accomplish the thing that we hoped to have, then we're going to be sitting 10 years down the road, and if we're not aware, we're not going to be content still.
That's true.
It's
There's
like
always
now
got
10 years.
something to do.
Yeah, 10 years, you're not cooking anymore. You have a psychiatric practice or psychology or, whatever, you're a therapist, and you're like, man, all these patients are stressing me out.
Next.
You could, I mean, it's not that you would, but you could, right? If you're not aware,
You could.
you can be discontent with any of it. And so back to our other conversation, who am I? Well, are you one of the characters that needs the next thing? Because you are multitude, right? And so then in this verse, very gently they call to their brothers to turn away from death. Behold, Son of God, which is you. Behold, Son of God, what life can offer you? Why would you choose sickness in place of this? So what is the sickness? The sickness is not cancer. It's not any other body damaging disease or ailment. The sickness is separation. I am separate from life. I'm separate from what I need. I'm separate from what's going to bring me what I want, which is contentment and peace and and love and peace and contentment. Happiness is so tricky because happiness is usually what your ego says you want. And the problem with that is usually when you get what you want, then you very quickly want something else. It doesn't work. But what we really want from being happy is peace and happiness and contentment. That's what I mean, peace and contentment. That's what we want. We want to be content. Or we think we do. But wanting nothing, that's what contentment is. I want nothing because I have everything, right? That when I have everything, I'll want nothing. It doesn't work. I'm trying, believe me, it doesn't work. So would you be sick? So you're running into other people that are frustrated and discontent, or you're witnessing yourself, right? Because you are multitudes. So you can actually witness your personality being discontent, and you could be this teacher for yourself in the witness state. But the teacher, as far as is this non-dual, doesn't try to convince you of anything. The teacher just holds space that it's okay. In a similar way that if somebody was dreaming and you're trying to wake them up gently, you're not going to scream in their ear and freak them out. You're going to try to wake them up gently. So it's more like, Sue, hey, Sue, Kristen, wake up. Hey, no, it's okay. And you're like freaking out in your dream. I could see you moving and you're trying to scream. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Mm-hmm. And that's the Holy Spirit calling to us. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're dreaming. You're okay. The real version of you is content and complete right now. And this character of Javon thinks he's in a dream where he has to accomplish the world and look good to be happy and content. But the reality is, I'm already complete. Think of it like the soul. Soul's going to go on no matter what. No matter what you do in your life, the body's going to die, turn to dust. And what did it improve the soul at all? Well, maybe it gave it experiences that it was looking for. But in that sense, the good and the bad experiences were very valuable. They were both very valuable. And so in that case, all of my trauma and drama, it's just as valuable as my accomplishments and my peaceful times. It doesn't make me a more spiritual person to meditate than it does to yell at my kids. It's more painful to yell at my kids, but that's part of this experience that my soul, or whatever we're going to call that, wanted.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. All right.
It's a good one.
Right. Not once do the advanced teachers of God consider the forms of sickness in which their brother believes. To do this, to consider the forms of sickness, right? To do this
Mhm.
is to forget that all of them have the same purpose and therefore are not really different. They seek for God's voice in this brother who would so deceive himself as to believe God's son can suffer. And they remind him that he did not make himself and must remain as God created him.
Mm,
Hmm.
we think we do. I mean, that's one of my problems is I think that I'm making myself. I think Javon made Javon. Even worse, I think that Javon has his thoughts, and I think I'm in control of my life. Javon, I am I am aware of the notion that it's not true, but the reason I know that I don't truly believe it is I get wrapped up and frustrated and scared and scarce and angry, and then I embody that, and I think I am that, and it frustrates me, and so I forget. And then I get wrapped up into the story and think it's who I am.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They recognize illusions can have no effect. The truth in their minds reaches out to the truth in the minds of their brothers so that illusions are not reinforced. They are thus brought to truth. Truth is not brought to them. So are they dispelled, not by the will of another, but by the union of one will with itself. And this is the foundation of God's teachers, to see no will as separate from their own, nor theirs as separate from God's.
So this is basically what Denise and Joe are doing at their love ranch. Is they do a number of particular things uh, in their curriculum, but the basis of it all, even though they do particular things, their protocol, so to speak, is they're with you, and they are being with you in a way that's different, and you've heard the word holding space. So they're holding space in a way that's loving and neutral, loving and neutral. And even if you don't think it's loving, it's still neutral. They're not like retaliating, and people have a way of walking around in the world triggering people, and they don't realize that they're the trigger to others. The angry person walks around and they see a bunch of enemies because they trigger other people's fight or flight. So either you're an enemy that needs to be overcome. If you're an angry 8 in the Enneagram, you're either an enemy that needs to be overcome, or you're worthless and don't have a lot of value. So I'm going to run you over, or I'm going to put you in my cart and use you as a tool. Like, oh, that's an unhealthy 8. Or you're like, you've seen people that are like super they just emote sexuality, and they always get themselves in trouble, and maybe there's they get themselves in situations where people are taking advantage of them sexually, or they're or they're or they're trying to take advantage of others, and they have this sexual energy about them, and I've met people like that. I'm like, whoa, it's like, that's crazy, and you get the idea, if you're with these people, I know what they're up to, or like, oh man, I know I could probably get with them, or whatever it is, you pick it up, you pick up their vibe, and maybe they think, oh man, it's just everybody's just out for my body. They don't know who I am, and they don't get their own energy that they're putting out there. They don't get that signal that's coming out, the signal, and they're instigating it. They're poking, they're provoking the world around them to engage with them in that way. They don't get it. Or, maybe it's, any number of ways, all these different ways that we engage, we're actually provoking other people to engage with us in the way that they are. We are doing that. The Bible says, provoke one another for love and good works. So how provoke, right? What, the word provoke, it has the connotation, the original language of poke with a stick. Poke, poke, poke. I'm going to poke you in a certain way to get you to do a certain thing. So how are we provoking the world? That's the real question. Not like, oh man, it's happening to me again. Or
Wait,
it's happening to me again.
that provoking though, that's also done by God.
Well, ultimately, yes. So there's the work of the personality. Remember all the levels? There's the personality development, which is um trying to experience happiness while I think I'm in a body. So it's the personality development. And that's most of it, releasing our awareness. And then there's the work of God, which is the whole script's already written. Every engagement is already planned. Everything in front of you is directly from God. There's nothing I can really change. There's a big dynamic at the same time, for sure. So the provoking, it's not really me ultimately, but it sure feels like it. Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yeah. It really does feel like it's us, right? Like,
Totally.
and yeah, that's the way to maintain like all that. Anyway, but it's not. And believing that you are the one doing the provoking, like that's also in violation. It's part of the delusion that this section was just talking about, right? The illness.
So the real sickness is believing that it's happening to you. One step in the personality development is to realize that you're doing it. You're doing it. It's not doing it to you. The world's not doing it to you. You're doing it to the world. That's a shift. It's still in the world of personality development, but you're moving from victim to power, from victim to
Awareness.
ability. I don't know, what's the opposite of victim? Victim to empowerment. You're moving from victim to empowerment. Like you're not stuck. You're not trapped. Now, let's say you're in Nazi Germany and you're in a prison camp like Viktor Frankl. You ever heard of Viktor Frankl? Man's Search for Meaning. It's a great book. And he can't get out of prison, but he still has the power to choose how he's going to perceive his situation. He's going to provoke others to have faith that this situation matters. And everybody else believes it's hopeless. It doesn't matter. We're in prison. We're going to die in a gas chamber. And most of them, a lot of them, were right. They did die in a gas chamber. And Viktor said, that is not important. What is important is how we treat each other right now. Because, and then he adds a story, which was a new perception that empowered him. And his story was, when we get out of here, and many of us will, we're going to be able to tell others this story of how we loved and took care of each other and achieved a level of contentment and equanimity, right? Like peace and acceptance of life, like we accepted our life and created a bond and received love from one another and gave, that was actually beautiful in the middle of this. And if we were able to do it in the middle of this, you crowd, and he would like imagine being in front of a crowd, just a normal crowd in an auditorium of free people. You people can do anything. Your trials aren't that big. If I could do that, you could do it too, where you're at. And so he did that in the middle of prison. Now, that on death row, like, and most of them died, or a lot of them died. He didn't, he made it out. And so what's that? Well, it's a shift, right? He became, instead of a victim, he became empowered, and then he empowered others, and then he chose love right now. And he said, this is the perfect time to be what I always wished I could be. I wish I could be successful. Well, now's the perfect time to be successful. Like, be that successful person now. I wish I could be content. Well, I've been walking around stressing out like crazy because I was starting this new company. All of my safety nets I threw away by resigning from my company. And so here I am with no safety net. Well, that's not true. That's even not true, but this is my mind. We like our savings and stuff. We're actually okay, totally okay, but I'm still freaking out in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna end up on the streets, like my crazy mind. And so then I'm like trying to talk myself off my crazy ledge. And this kind of conversation to myself, right? And when I'm trying to talk and be peace in the moment and be content, knowing it's okay, I trust God, it's going to be okay. When has everything not been okay? It's always been okay, no matter how bad it's been my whole life. Here I am. My body is in pretty good condition. That's proof. It's been okay, no matter how bad it's been. It's going to be okay. But then I have just this anxiety I carry around, and so I've literally had to go within and find that resistance. Because that's what's happening. As I'm resisting life, I'm resisting what's coming to me. And what's coming to me is my gift. In this way, like, it's revealing my sickness, because my sickness is really just a mistake of who I am as an accomplisher. So where is that resistance to life as it comes to me, instead of my ultimate, like, thank you, God, I'm content. Everything is perfect as it is. No resistance at all. That's contentment. There's no resistance. And so I had to find the resistance within me. And it's so weird. I'll go into my body and try to resist, like, in a meditative state, and I'll find it in my chest, and I'll find it in the back of my head. I don't know. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but then I have to be completely still, sometimes for a long time, to be able to release it. It's like, moving energy up and down, I'm breathing, I'm expanding, I'm doing all of these meditative exercises until I could finally let it go. And then I'm like, oh, there it is. And I'm like, wow, was I carrying that around? Why was I doing that? Do I need to carry that around to accomplish my Javon goals? I
That's
don't.
the story. But yeah.
That's my story. I don't need to carry around. But when I try to accomplish Javon goals and I carry that around, it's so painful. Why do I do that to myself?
And it's not true.
It's not true. And it's not true. It's not helpful, and it's not true. Both. Sick. I'm sick. And so what do you do when you run into a sick person? Well, you don't try to teach them. You don't try to say, you're wrong, this is right, because then that's like attacky. What you do, according to this, like Love Ranch, Denise and Joe, is you are a safe space, and you're like, oh, honey. And then Denise always says this, honey. I'm like, I know what that means.
Yeah.
It's like, bless your heart. This other person, bless your heart. You're like, that's like F you from the South. I know what that means. But non-resistant, safe space, total love, total contentment. We want to talk about it. You're okay. Hey, you're okay. It's okay. No, it's not.
How long have they been doing it? Do you know?
Well, she's been on this path for a long time.
For a long time.
And they've had the house in the current capacity for only like 3 or 4 years, I think. But they've had different versions of it for a while. But the house is set up the way it is for maybe 3 years or so.
Cool. Wow,
All right, sorry.
I know 5 already.
I went over. I get all excited.
This is good.
Is this helpful, this format? the way we're doing it, I mean, the way that I kind of I talk like crazy, it's really helpful for me. I feel like I'm my own therapist. It's really wonderful.
I think so because I love examples. I mean, you read stuff, you go into detail, and you give examples of what our day-to-day life is. And so it makes it easier to connect to what we're learning. And so I enjoy that. And you can ramble on as much as you want because I know I do too.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We are one.
Yep.
I was thinking, it's okay with me. Are you okay if we invite other people to participate if they want?
I would love that.
You okay with that, Sue?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so feel free to invite if you want anybody. And it's always interesting as other people come in with different perspectives, especially when you don't get like non-deal stuff. You're like, what are you talking about? And I've found that other people's questions of not knowing actually helps me to know better, because when someone asks a question, there's an answer. And when the answer comes, even if I'm saying it, I'm like, wow, oh yeah, I never got that before, which is an interesting dynamic, right? Because it's coming out of my mouth, but I'm getting it for the first time when that dynamic happens. So it's always, I love these new perspectives. And I love when Denise is on, right? She goes into teacher mode, and I'm like, okay, let's go.
I did notice that. It's funny, I think, when she's on, like, you switch into the student mode, and then
Yeah, teach, learn, learn, teach. It's all the same thing. And if somebody wants to take the role, I have this one friend of mine. He's my chiropractor. He's amazing, by the way, if you need a chiropractor. But he is not interested in hearing anything I have to say ever. Like, he'll say something, and then I'll be like, oh, it's like this. And he's like, or he'll be like,
Okay.
no. He'll tell me no. And then he'll say the thing I said. I'm like, all right. That's cool. I guess it's just one way. That's cool. I like what you have. Let's do it.
Get it done, right?
Yeah.
Next.
All right, ladies.
All right,
Thank
you
you.
guys have a good weekend.
You
Have a good
too.
weekend.
You too, Javon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.